So I would say I identify myself as somebody who's an immigrant, somebody who grew up undocumented, somebody who's a DACA recipient, had deferred action for childhood arrivals, and an educator. So that's who I am, and that's the work that I do now with Immschools, and the reason why the organization was even co-founded. So I came to the States when I was 10 years old from Lima, Peru. Grew up in the Bronx, New York, right off Pelham Road, if anybody's from the Bronx, yeah. And then I also lived out in Westchester County, so I kind of like moved back and forth. My mom cleans houses for a living. My dad cleans offices for a living. And I believe that they're entrepreneurs themselves because they had to come to this country and start a business. And that's what they do now, still to this day. It's about, my mom does about 20 houses a month. And so I think about their spirit, but also everything that they sacrificed for me. And a lot of it was rooted on education and having access to greater opportunity and greater resource. Unfortunately, when I came here, my immigration status really impacted every single part of my educational trajectory, literally every single part. And throughout my time as a student, I did not receive the adequate support systems that I should have as an undocumented student. So that's why eventually when I was able to get a work permit, I became a teacher because I never had any teachers like me. And when I became a teacher, the same thing happened. There were no support systems. So I think my moment of obligation has actually been in my entire life. There wasn't an actual moment, but it's been constant experiences from my family, from the students that I served in Los Angeles and in New York City that made me realize that we needed to do more. Myself and my co-founder both have, I mean, together years of being, like 20 plus years of being undocumented in this country. And I think we continue to ask ourselves, you know, what would it have been like if the education system was welcoming, was supporting, and gave us resources when we needed it? And then we also ask ourselves, what would it have been like for the dreams of our parents who gave up everything for us to actually be realized through this education, right? So that's the reason why I even do the work or even started the work in education, because it did propel me forward, but it was extremely challenging, and it should not be this challenging. It just shouldn't. It should not be this challenging for me to be sitting here. It shouldn't. So when we think about Immschools and the work that we're doing, and for my own time in the classroom and being a teacher, which is the greatest job I will ever have, I will say that. Teaching was the greatest thing I have ever done in my entire life. So I taught in Los Angeles and in New York City, and you see the really large gaps around immigration and the knowledge that's missing. So we work with educators closely with them because we believe that they are the first people often that parents and students go to in search for resources and answers and support. We work closely with them to build their competency around immigration, not only policy, but also practices. What are the safe and welcoming spaces that you can build in your classroom? Because I have met educators in New York and in Texas who want to support their students and families regardless of their immigration status, where immigration is more about humanity rather than these policies that we hear constantly. So we work closely with educators to equip them with those tools that I wish I would have had as a teacher and that I wish my teachers would have had for me as a student.